Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving into a fascinating GitHub pull request, adding a file explorer to the Helix editor. It's a significant enhancement, and the discussion surrounding it is really illuminating.
Right, I've been following this one. The initial proposal was pretty straightforward, right? A minimal implementation drawing inspiration from Telescope's file browser for NeoVim.
Exactly. The author, Drybalka, cleverly leveraged existing Helix components, minimizing the code changes and keeping the maintenance burden low. They even acknowledged the code wasn't perfect, calling it a proof of concept, which I appreciated. That honesty is refreshing.
I see. But there was some pushback, wasn't there? Some folks argued that a file browser should be a plugin, not a core feature.
Absolutely. The argument was that a full-fledged file browser is complex and might bloat the core editor. But Drybalka's response was compelling. Their changes were minimal and integrated naturally.
And the discussion evolved from there, right? Suggestions for alternative implementations, like using oil.nvim's buffer-based approach?
Yes, Dydroza suggested oil.nvim, which uses buffers for file navigation. Drybalka countered that this would be harder to implement and maintain, and that buffers are primarily for text editing, not file management. A valid point, I think.
Interesting. So the PR progressed, with requests for screenshots, code improvements from the Mike Davis, and suggestions for additional features like support for the current buffer directory.
Precisely. The Mike Davis's review was particularly insightful, pointing out efficiency improvements and error handling. And Zegarvivi's suggestion to add a function for browsing the current buffers directory was a great addition, making it much more user-friendly.
And then there were some issues reported, right? Problems with the command palette, binary file previews, and even the initial inability to open the file browser on macOS.
Yes, a lot of debugging and troubleshooting happened. It highlighted the complexities of integrating such a feature, even with a minimal implementation. The command palette issue, in particular, turned out to be a separate, larger bug in Helix itself.
But it all worked out in the end, right? The PR was merged, and the File Explorer is now part of Helix.
Yes. After several iterations, refinements, and a name change from File Browser to File Explorer, the PR was merged. The community collaboration was truly impressive. The final version included improvements suggested throughout the discussion, like adding trailing slashes to directory names for better visual distinction.
It's a great example of how a seemingly small feature can spark a rich and productive discussion, leading to a much better final product. And the enthusiasm from the community, especially after the merge, was palpable.
Absolutely. It showcases the power of open source collaboration and the value of iterative development. And it's a fantastic addition to Helix. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.